Hello folks and welcome to another HP Gaming GameLINK video. Today, as you can see, we have an unboxing for you and an unboxing of epic proportions. This is Nemesis Lockdown and holy crap, I'm excited. Hey folks, welcome back to HP Gaming GameLINK. If you don't know me by now, you should, and we should become very, very good friends. My name is Matt, and I am absolutely privileged to be able to finally unbox Nemesis Lockdown for you. This is our Sundrop pledge. I don't think it's all in. I know we've got a lot of extras as well. I am pumped to show you what is in this box. There is so much going on here, and it's just a thing of absolute beauty. It is massive, so by all means get comfortable. If you haven't got a coffee or a drink or something a bit stronger, if it's later in the night, depending on where you are watching this, by all means get comfortable, settle in. It's going to be a bumpy ride. First things first, got my trusty pocket knife here, and we are going to open up this absolutely epic box. This is the first big box I've received from Awaken Realms. It's actually got a branded, branded thing on it. Obviously, Etherfields and other games that they've done have had big logos and things, but this is the first massive box from Awaken Realms we've got, and it just looks fantastic. We went all in. I'll keep that here. We went all in on a Sundrop pledge, as I said, so there's all sorts of goodies here. Let's lift the lid. Oh my goodness, there's packing peanuts. So many packing peanuts. I did not think of packing peanuts when I was setting up studio here. So let's take a look and see what we've got in store. Let's try and bring out boxes. There's a stretch goals box in here. Let's get that one. Oh my gosh, it is packed to the absolute brim of stuff. Let's see, we've got here Untold Stories 1 and 2. Then we've got an extra sheet of punch outs, which I think is because it was a misprint in the core box. We have got, oh my gosh, there is just so much going on. Let's see, let's try and get, try to do this without spreading peanuts all over the floor. There's going to be so much going on here. Let's get this out of here. We've got the stretch goals box. Oh my gosh. We have got the Kings, Lockdown Kings expansion. We have got the Nemesis base game Kings expansion because, you know, we like all of the pretty things. We've got a promo pack of cards, I believe, that's in there. There is the core box as well. I'm going to have to get up because this is just huge. Get rid of all the... Oh, look at that. Isn't that just absolutely gorgeous? Now, Nemesis Lockdown, for those of you who don't know, and you should, is a standalone pseudo-sequel to the base game, which is compatible with everything else. Look at that thing, it's beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's heavy as hell. Just making sure there's nothing else in the box here. Let's get rid of that bad boy, because it is just massive. And then we've got here our big friend. Oh my goodness, look at it, it's absolutely fantastic. There is... There is so much to get through. I did say settle in, and I meant it. Wow. Okay, so Nemesis Lockdown. This is the core, the base box. I'll just go through everything here. We've got what looks like some extra promo cards. We've got the Kings Sundrop expansion. This is the Nemesis Lockdown Kings. So as opposed to using Queens. So in the base game, for those of you who aren't aware, you have a bunch of intruders who are crawling all over the ship, and you can use intruders, they work their way up. There's breeders, lurkers, larvae, and of course a queen. Instead of using a queen, you can use a king, which is fantastic, as just an alternate sculpt. Similar rules, but that's fine. We've got here the Nemesis Lockdown Stretch Goals box, which has the Chytrids, I think they're called. Is that right? Chytrids. I can never pronounce it correctly. Someone tell me if I'm pronouncing it wrong. Oh my goodness. Okay, miniatures, Sundrop galore, and then of course we've got punch boards as well. I don't even know where to begin. There's just so many boxes. All right, let's get into Lockdown because it's probably good to start with the base game. Why not? Let's make it work. Okay, so you'll have to forgive me as well. This is the first time shooting with this microphone, so if I'm coming in way too loud, I apologize for that, but I'd rather have too much audio than not enough. I'm also using my new widescreen camera and the new overhead boom and everything else, so there is lots going on. Bear with me, but you know, I'm a one-person studio and I'm kind of digging it. It's fantastic. All right, let's stand this fellow up here because it's just gorgeous. Now, the Nemesis box, I think the Nemesis box is about the same size as this, although this does look like it doesn't sit flush, which is a bit odd. I do like the fact that we've got plastic, lots of plastic. Now, this bills itself as a sequel. Sorry for the camera shake too. I need to figure out a way to mount the other camera, but that's okay. Look, I'm sure you're still with me at this point, which is good. There is, let's get the plastic off there and bring this down onto the thing. There we go. Brilliant. Plastic goes on the floor because that's how we roll. Oh, gosh. Okay, so it bills itself as a sequel, but obviously it is a standalone and you can play it on its own as well. There are new crew members to play as. Oh, my gosh. This, the box here will sit flush. Let's put that over there. The box, the box will sit flush eventually. There's just a ton of punch board and tokens that are in here. That's why it's not sitting flush. There we go. There we go. Look at that. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? The Nemesis box having, you know, the astronaut and then having the intruders coming in behind you and all the rest of it looked fantastic. But there's something about this artwork that just looks boss. I love it. Okay, so the rulebook is here. It's got a video so you can basically learn how to play. Game introduction. I'm not going to go through the rulebook on mass, but just because there's so much other stuff to get through. It talks about setup, how to set up the board. The board does play a little bit differently to the Nemesis space game because it's obviously a mining station, mining colony or facility as opposed to the Nemesis spacecraft. You've got computer actions, how it all sort of works, noise rolls, yada, 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 and lots of crazy, wonderful death, which I'm digging. So let's have a look. I'm just seeing if we are, where are we? I'm going to put this over here. Then we've got the room sheet. So this dictates sort of which rooms do what. A bit of a reference card for you. Rules summaries, more room sheets. Yep, fantastic. Always helpful to have player aids. We have a laboratory board. You know what? Maybe we should get in close for this. We'll have a look at the boards. I mean, you can see what's going on. The boards are there. Laboratory board. It's got that same thick chipboard that we love. Now you've got laboratory for the Night Stalkers. And on the back, you've got the base intruders. So this laboratory work with the intruders from the base game as well, which I'm kind of digging. And you've got corpses of dead intruders as well. Punch-outs everywhere. So the punch-outs, or the sheets, these are player boards. I do like the presence of this on the table as well when it's all set up. It just looks fantastic. Especially if you fail a good couple of noise rolls and bring out a couple of those intruder minis, because the as you'll see, the base miniatures for your player characters are like this, and then you've got the intruders that are 4 times that size, which is just adds to it. I think, in my opinion, it's fabulous. The board I'm going to get a wide shot of. I don't know if I can get it on the overhead with everything else that's going on here, but bear with me. Okay, more plastic for the floor. So we have punch-outs for rooms. We have what looks like dead corpses here. We have sentry, hacker, lab rat, xenobiologist, which could come in handy. The room search tokens, which are hidden knowledge, survivor, the janitor. I just love the idea of story of having the janitor just taking names. This guy who's unassuming as hell. It's very much that, well, not even the cliche Under Siege, the cook who's an ex-marine but no one knows about it, all that sort of stuff. I just like the idea of the janitor just being the last sole survivor at the facility, walking out at the end. It looks fantastic. So you get secret tokens here for different parts of the facility as to whether they're working or not. Your intruder bag tokens, which obviously mean mostly death. First player Space Cat, special dials there as well. And what else we got here? We've got little secret tokens. Now these tokens here go on the time track, and they talk about different things that can launch from the facility to take you to safety. Oh, and there's the lunar rover thing as well, so you can take it out onto the surface of the planet and try and escape to victory there. There's crazy energy dials. There's an elevator that works between the levels of the thing. There's doors. There's all sorts of crazy stuff. I love it. Probably will never use the doors because I have the upgraded terrain expansion in Sundrop, so that's going to be fantastic getting the doors to the table. All right, we've got here some... I wonder what... That's the other punch out here then, just quickly. Whether that's relating to base Nemesis or something else. I may have missed an update on the Kickstarter campaign about all that. Someone correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below as to what they're for. They look like they are for different levels of the facility, 1, 2, and 3. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, as I said. And there's double of those. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll come across them when I keep opening up stuff. All right, I'm going to try and unfold the board for you just to show you a bit about what this is about. If it doesn't fit, that's okay. I will have an updated photo of this. Oh my gosh, the one thing about these that I love is that they are double-sided, but they are also absolutely massive. And trying to manage this with the microphone and everything else is just not working for me. That's okay. We'll make that work. Flip that one that way. Oh my gosh. Crazy man. It is huge. Absolutely huge. So, yeah, definitely going to get a wide shot of this. The detail on these maps, it's actually... It's really... It's awesome. Don't get me wrong. It's an awesome map. But I'm not sure whether I prefer this or the Nemesis. There is more to do because there's obviously things like the space area, the separate safe zone where you can escape with the rover and make your way across the landscape to get to a safe haven. The fact that you've got lights on and off and then things move around in the dark, that's fantastic as well. But I don't know, the idea of a spaceship, it's kind of digging it. I don't know. It's all going to come down to how it plays, I guess. Let's be honest. All right, let's try and... Now I can't figure out how to fold the bloody thing up. There we go. Oh my gosh, there is just so much going on. We've got the board. Oh, that was an effort. Thank you for sticking with me so far. If you are still there, we have our little scanning card, which is to deal with the infection procedure and things like that. Don't get infected. First rule of Nemesis, never get infected. We've got the Nemesis bag. Oh, silica gel. Don't eat that. Really important, don't eat that. It can go on the floor. That's where your tokens go for your intruder bags and things like that as you develop that bag. And the larvae become adults and more adults and things go in there and even more nastier things as well. Storage baggies, which we love. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Awaken Realms. Love your work. Then we have this is... They've created these storage trays for all the different components, and they are effectively almost custom built to all the different components here. They've got little grooves to pull things out of. So this is going to have your player boards here or laboratory boards or whatever it is. And I think you're going to be able to store additional components from the expansions on here as well. And I dig that. That's fantastic. So I'm going to put that one to the side for now. Let's put that one back over here. All right, now we're getting into the nitty-gritty. So we've got components galore. We've got, extra dice. I like that. So the dice, there's dice for the intruders for combat and things. I think there's also dice for computer rolls. Maybe I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. You got some blue dice. Look, you know what? We might have to get in close for this. Yeah? All right, let's get in close. I'll bring you down because I know what else is in this box, especially what's under here. So let's get you in close and we'll show you what it's all about. Okay, so we are back. We are nice and close. Well, closer than we were. Obviously, it's still pretty crazy, pretty high up. I am going to spill a few components and things here. We've got, these look like they're just little dial clips for those spin dials we saw before. We're going to leave those in there. And those are the plugs for those. that's pretty straightforward. We've got some standees for the doors. Now these are just your generic standees, which you would find in most games. They do, they're quite a nice plastic, but they are just literally a nice generic standee, which again we won't be using because we've got the terrain upgrade pack, so we're going to be, working with those crazy doors. We have markers of all shapes and sizes. Now these are literally just some translucent cubes, or sorry, translucent blobs, I should say. So if you get infected and things, you pop those on your track to indicate how many wounds you've got and how much damage you've taken, whether or not you're infected, etc. Unless you've got a lava on them, on there, because that's obviously going to cause trouble too. We have the noise roll markers, which are the lovely little acrylic sort of tokens that indicate which corridor's noise has come from. And if you move into a room that has all its corridors full of noise tokens, get out. Get out while you can, because you're about to be hunted down and chased down by some alien intruders. We have more plastic for the floor. We've got some fire damage tokens. So fire obviously damages everything, including the intruders as well. Here I am throwing bits away. There we go. We've got all those bits in there. Then we have, now this is one thing I'm noticing, which was different in the Nemesis box, the original box. They had little token logos and things which actually indicated which things went where. I guess the component tray is pretty much generic here, so it doesn't matter too much. But it was nice when it was packing it up and everything else. You know where everything goes. It's fantastic in that regard. So what we've got here now is the player bases. So you put these on your player character to let everyone know what's going on. These are silicone ones. They're not little clips. They're a bit squishy, which is good. And you've got all the different colors there. Very similar to other games that we use those tokens. That's fine. We know how to use those. We'll put those, you know what, let's put them back in the bag there. I'm conscious of time, so I'm trying to go quickly. We are shooting high def, so you can obviously pause the video if you would like to, because obviously you've got the ability to do so. These are the damage, not the breakdown tokens. So if you go into a room which has a breakdown token, then obviously you need to repair the room before you can use its ability. Dice, we've got dice galore. I think we already had a look at dice briefly, but I'm going to get them out anyway. They look like they work, which is fabulous. I do like the translucency on these die. They do look pretty awesome. I think they've just done that just because it's an upgraded style of thing. The blue die, I'm not sure whether that's because they have like card actions to do damage as well, so maybe that's a specialist action. The orange die is something a bit different as well. Digging that too. If I make a goof, you will see a subtitle on screen that will tell you what the component is that I'm talking about, and more likely you would have already seen one or two. These are the damage cubes, which are pretty straightforward. They look a little bit tinier than the other Nemesis game, and I think it's because they were obviously very hard to fit on the bases or around the different characters, but they're just standard sort of pandemic-y style cubes. And they do the job, but they've got a nice translucency to them, which is fantastic. Very, very high production quality across the board so far. Very excited for that. But I'm more excited to see what is under here. So what we're going to do is we're going to lift this one out and hopefully not, make too much of a mess. Okay, so a bit of stuff has sort of dislodged in shipping, which is okay. I don't mind that because everything's been packed so well. But we've got all sorts of lava and things. So the Night Stalkers are the intruders in the base game of Lockdown, but obviously there's the Chytrids or whatever it was, however you pronounce it as well. So lots going on. We have got the card trays for the players. So you draw a player number and then you take one of these racks and you store your cards in there. If you've watched our Nemesis unboxing video, there's probably going to be a lot of similarities here. So I may time code all the new stuff just so you can jump ahead. Now we've got our first tray of minis here. These larvae are all pretty much the same, but they just have this cool, I don't know, the Night Stalkers are a bit more bone, bit more structure. I don't know, not necessarily more structure, but the base game intruders were just epic in their insanity. These guys are just as detailed. The miniatures, obviously, I think they were a miniature house originally, Awaken Realms. So this is their jam. This is what they do. Now, let's go through all the different heroes that you can play as, and correct me if I'm wrong. The Survivor, who is wearing a mask, being very COVID safe. She is, again, these are all Sundropped as well. I do like the, the fact she's packing that massive bug out bag, just to get away from it all. The minis are just so good, and it just gives you that sense of ownership of the character as well, which is fantastic. What have we got here? Is this the janitor? This is my favorite. This is the janitor. This is the guy I'm going to want to play as and draft all the time. He's got like some sort of a shotgun or a rifle or something, which is just boss. And he's got this cool little, workers vibe, very blue collar. And it looks like he's got vacuum packs on his back. Maybe it's a vacuum thing, just sort of try and get rid of all the intruders, which is awesome. We have the lab rat, who has a bit of scenery to crouch and down and hide behind. She's in an interesting pose there. Is that a weapon or something? Is it some sort of science weapon? Who knows? Gosh. The detail on these things, a little bit of Sundrop wash, they just look fantastic. And the fact they've Sundropped the heroes in a grey and then the Night Stalkers in a brown, which I wasn't originally a fan of when I first saw it. I'm digging it now. It looks fantastic. We have got the Sentry. Now the Sentry is literally a guy, or a person, can't really tell, they've got a mask on, who is packing a lot of heat and is ready to just hold that line. The minis are just awesome. I want to hear from you guys, which is your favorite. Have you played Lockdown yet? Those of you that have backed it. This is the hacker. So we've got lots of cables and craziness, and we've got, this crazy detailed mask, which looks like it's some sort of cyber assassin, cyberpunk, cables galore, weaponry, lots of packs for SD cards and things that they're packing here, which is fabulous. I love that. Fantastic. And then I think last but not least, we've got the xenobiologist, who's got this crazy mechanical arm dealio. I just hope I haven't been pushing him out of frame. But yeah, you sort of get the idea of what's going on with these minis. She's got some sort of result there. She's got her goggles on for protection. That's fantastic. All right. So I guess, yeah, do you have a favourite hero so far? Do you have a favourite that you have played as, if you've been managing to play some games of Lockdown? And I hope you have, because, oh my goodness, what an experience. These look like they're going to be the crawlers. We've got them, they're a bit snug in their bases here. Oh my gosh. Oh, baby. Okay, so these guys, this is obviously a top down, but then if you tilt it up, look at him. He is just ready to take names, and if you saw that coming at you, yeah, I don't know, I think I'd be pretty pissed, pretty concerned if this guy's coming at me. There's different sculpts for these guys as well, which I'm digging. Let's have a look. These guys, I don't know if they're the same. No, they might be younglings or younger ones, but they've got like this crazy wingspan and tails and stuff. The detail on these minis is just fantastic. It's just so good. I love it. And we've got another sculpt here as well. This is another, like a little smaller fella who he's sort of not quite grown his wings yet. They're still developing. But the brown, as I said, when I first saw it was going to be brown, I was like, I don't know. But it sort of brings out that bone structure and that absolute terror. I mean, this guy's got a big smile on his face just because he's about to eat you alive. And that's kind of awesome as well. Let's take this one out and see what we've got underneath here. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, cards galore. Let's have a look. We've got item cards and things there. We've got, more gel. Don't eat that. Get rid of it. Oh gosh. All right, let's get through some cards, then we'll get through some more minis. We have got crafted item decks we'll start with first. Which again I'm going to skim through because you want to discover that on your own as you're playing through your own copy of Nemesis, and I'm also conscious that we've got 1, 2, 3 other boxes to get through as well. So you've got classic items like 6-shooter, and these are all based on the base game characters, so survivors, captain, mechanic, etc. Sentry, janitor, xenobiologist, hacker. That's interesting that they assume you've got those other characters available. They've thrown those in, and then you've got the different items that you can craft for medical, etc. I do like the fact that they've thought about their backers of the original campaign and added those in. Boss move by Awaken Realms. That's fantastic. Now, we've also got the rest of the item decks, including the crafting item decks. I always find that while I want to gather resources to potentially craft as many items as I can, it just takes so much time, and I usually find that I'm a bit set upon by 5 or 6 intruders, and it can make it really, really tricky to actually, because you want to use those resources, but you also need those resources to stay alive. So it's kind of important to see and manage that balance. So we've got Night Stalker weakness cards, which I won't spoil for you, items from the item deck, and then of course items in the healing deck as well. Reagent, we've got med kits, we've got caffeine pills, my personal favorite, and then we've got cables, tool belts, what else? We've got duct tape, etc., and a few other secrets which I won't spoil for you now. Let's put those up here. I think there's also some challenge cards and things in there as well. Action decks, basic decks. We've got decks and decks and decks, decks on decks on decks. Right, so these are going to be the decks of cards for the player characters. Now, if you have not played any Nemesis whatsoever, first of all, what are you doing? Then you need to understand that you have a base deck of about 10 cards, not deck builder style. Each deck is different for each player character, but you use those cards to pay for other actions. So if you want to move, you've got to burn a card from your hand and then move, and so on and so forth. So there is a bit of strategy in terms of what cards you can play, etc. And as you progress through the game, you might get contamination cards, which then limit the actions you can take because you only have 4 cards you can use. Weird Metabolism, so these are the Lab Rat cards. Weird Metabolism, Sensitive Hearing, Feel of the Dark, that's 3 of them. There will be more, obviously. Survivor cards for searching actions, resting. So search action and rest, I think, is something that's generic across all the different decks. I'm sure we'll see that as we go through. Vents for the Survivor, Distraction. Oh, Contamination deck. So these have little infrared panels. So when you use this fella on top, they'll tell you whether or not you've been infected or not. They have a generic background because they fit into your action deck and obviously shuffle in with your other normal deck of cards. We've got the pilot cards, rest, demolition, interruption, repairs, computer skills, a backdoor, improvised weapon, and respite. What have we got in this one here? This will be the rest of the player cards. It's always hard to tell which pack to open first. Because, you don't want to miss out on cards and everything else, but it does mean that I will get a chance to sort through things, which would be fantastic. All right, so we've got here more plastic for the floor. We have, let's find the rest of the Lab Rat cards here. So again, that search action we talked about, rest, demo, interruption, basic repairs, inconspicuous, so blending in. That's always nice. And then we have, let's put the Survivor cards over there as well. So put all the player cards together. The Sentry cards, again, search, rest. Demo must be common as well. Interruption, repairs, stun, quarantine, facility tour, defense plan, and then the janitor search, rest. Janitor can blow stuff up. Interruption, it should work. Use a room action even if there's a malfunction marker. So the janitor is cool because he knows how things work. He just knows how to hit things hard enough to make them work. Has emergency keys, jury rigging, that I love. As a janitor, you just want to make things work, so doing that's fantastic. Maintenance plan, cleanup, and then you got the hacker, searching, resting, demolition, interruption. And then you get the player cards that are specific, recharging, Neuralink, bypassing, it works for me, the master plan of the hacker. Then you got the xenobiologist, search, demo. Oh, no resting, interruption, repairs, vivisection. Yes, please. I like me some vivisection. Field experience, pheromones, workspace plan, and rushed analysis. So yes, you can rush through stuff, but at what cost? At what cost? We'll put the contamination cards back in there as well, because that'll make a pack up a little bit of a breeze, because as I said, more stuff going down. We've got events decks now. The event deck, from what I understand, if it's similar to the base game, you draw an event card during the event phase and resolve the effects. They're usually always bad. Sometimes they're good. So let's see. We've got Mars surface cards. We've got the Night Stalkers attack deck, which I think is all here. Oops, there we go. All right, so the events are literally just generic backed events cards. You shuffle them up and they cause chaos. They tell you which way intruders move, if they move, which intruders are taking the movement. It also talks about different effects. So short-circuiting, that's hot. Kickstopper as opposed to Kickstarter. Fire and consuming fire. Power surge, flip the time token to its inactive side. Bulkheads open, leaving the shell. Blood trace. Each intruder in combat attacks. Egg protection, nest, damage, scent of blood. That does not sound good. Hatching, noise and control, panic, etc., etc., etc. Now, Mars Surface. So these are new cards, and that's the symbol we saw on the orange die as well. So I wonder if that's got something to do with it. This has radioactive dust. Your character gets +1 contamination card and a slime marker. That's not so good. More radioactive dust. Micro meteorites. Each character on the Mars surface suffers 1 serious wound. Wow. Sudden temperature drop. Resolve the danger effect. Solar flare. Hostile environment. Your character undresses all serious wounds. Ouch. That's not very good. So yeah, while it's good to be outside, it's also not good to be outside. Now these are the Night Stalkers attack decks. So this basically talks about whether they flee, which intruders are attacking, and what sort of damage they do, how many damage they can take. So if they have more cubes than what's shown there, when the card's revealed, they will die. Blood, chase, create corpses, pierce, perched in the dark, waiting to attack. Yeah, they're nasty. More perched in the dark. Blood rage. That's never a good thing. Then we've got here piercing the heart, infecting the host, evolving. That's not a fan of that either with the Night Stalkers. I don't think that's going to be a good idea, because that's most likely going to then change the bag you've got. So you're going to get crazy minis coming at you left, right, and center. Serious wound cards coming out, and probably, I don't know, we'll see what else we've got here. Oh, we've got the help cards as well. So serious wound cards, you can flip them over so they just are serious wounds, but usually they will cause absolute chaos for you, allowing you to only carry 1 heavy object, etc. We've got the objective cards here. We've got the crafted items as a reminder, helping cards. That's cool. So the crafted items tells you exactly which cards you need or which components you need to build said items, and then contingencies and how that sort of works. That's kind of good. I'm digging that. Let's put those in here. Intruder bag development, so how you develop the bag at the end of each phase. Night Stalker encounter cards, and then here you've also got the pass and player aids. So these are your player numbers, what happens of a round, how the game works, etc., which I dig too. Okay, so let's put those there because it's a nice spot. Serious Wounds has this nice little deadly backing with all sorts of chaos on them, and things like a close-up of your bung knee. The cost of the first movement, including escape action in the player's first turn of the round, is 2 instead of 1. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Knees, lots of gut problems. Each time you pass in the player phase, your character gets 1 contamination card. Someone's got diarrhea or gastro. Eyes. Oh my gosh, you can do damage to eyes and arms and everything else. Ugh, gross. But I kind of love it. Getting serious wounds in this game is never a good thing, I can tell you that much. All right, solo co-op objectives. So this is a game that is semi-cooperative in that you sometimes might get a goal where in order to win, you need to kill off player 2 or player 5 or whatever it is. You can play the game fully cooperative, in which case you would just remove all the kill your other fellow cosmonauts objectives and play with those. It also helps for solo player mode, where you've got to basically collect all the intruder weaknesses, prove your worth, leave no stone unturned, wake up call. Now these are for 1 player plus, so you can have them with anyone. And then if you have a look later on, you need to have at least 2 players for the Martian. Finish the game with at least 1 of each crafted item, like the Martian movie. Backup for 3 players. Each player must finish the game with knowledge of 5 or more of the creatures that they are lurking around. Then we've got here, these look like more player card. Okay. So I think there's objective cards in here, but I also think there's a mode where if you die, you can come back and play as the computer that runs the facility. So there's more events here. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. You've got character draft cards. So you can use these to shuffle up, and you'll draw 2. Choose one of, so I could choose a Labrador or a Survivor, and then I'll put the other one back in, shuffle up, and that's how you choose your characters. So they are chosen at random, which is kind of fun, so you don't have that one person going, oh, I'm going to be the janitor all the time. But that's okay. So computer actions. If you are in a room with a computer and a section with power, choose and play one action from the face-up computer action card deck. Okay, so you can't play as the computer, but you can play with the computer, and that's just as good in my opinion. Computer action A, computer action B, C, D, E, and lockdown. When a player reveals this card, they place a malfunction marker in their room, reshuffle the computer deck, including its discard pile. Hence, Nemesis Lockdown. Nice, I like that. Objective cards. Now these will be based on competitive or solo, semi-cooperative play. Nemesis what? Sometimes it's better not to know. Player 1's character cannot survive. There you go. So in a 2-player plus game, you've got to kill a player 1 in order to win. Harsh termination, hostile takeovers, etc. Last stand, base plans, ultimate knowledge, best friends forever. The goose who lays the golden egg. Finish the game in a CSS pod with an intruder egg object. Learn and run. Treasures are buried deep. Solid proof of their existence. And then there's another event deck here, which might be more of the same. I could be wrong, not sure. So events, they're just more events. Coolant leak, blue screen. It looks like it's a separate deck. So whether there was an issue in one or the other, I'm not sure. There's no symbols on the bottom. They just have a different back. Maybe it's because they're able to be combined with the base game, maybe. Again, could be wrong. We'll see what happens. Now here comes the fun part. Okay, so we've got these minis here as well. I will go through that extra pack of cards so I can pop it in there. But first things first, let's have a look at some. Oh, I don't even know where to begin. All right, let's go here. And the one thing I will say, they pack them in. Oh my gosh. They're just so gorgeous and terrifying at the same time, but also gorgeous. Okay, so we've got here, this one might be an adult. I would say it is an adult because it's most, look at this thing. Look at it. It's just the most amazing thing ever. The tail, everything. It's so, so good. I love it. I dig it. Sorry, folks. It's bin day, in case you didn't know. Let's have a look at some of these alternate sculpts. So, I mean, these guys just... I mean, look at this, dude. You've got the arm, but then you've got this crazy trail of tentacly, bony goodness. Like, even the side of the Nemesis big box that arrived had tentacles and stuff coming off it as well. They just look sick. This one's heavy. Really heavy. So there's this whole big thing with this guy's hanging off this monstrosity. I hope you can see it okay. It's just, the detail on these faces, and they're just so good. Terrifying, but also good. We've got here what looks like another same sculpted guy hanging off the stand thing. I like that very much. This is the hard part, working out how to pop them all back in. We have got, this one looks like it is, this is a heavy bugger too, gosh. So this one, I mean, this is what I'm saying. Like, you've got the sculpt like this, the characters that you play, look at the size difference. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. What chance have we got? And that's why it's sometimes okay to throw a friend under the bus. So this is one of the hulking ones. I can't remember the names of them all. Again, they'll pop up on the screen if I've got them wrong, which I usually do. He's got crazy ass horns on his head as well. Oh my gosh, I love it. And then we've got another alternate sculpt here. This one's most likely an adult. Again, that same sort of tentacle thing off the wing. You've got these crazy spines coming off here as well. It looks like he's standing on some sort of rock or debris, maybe on the Mars surface of Mars or whatever it may be. Oh, I just love it. I love it so much. So good. And then this is going to be the big bad, El Queen Grande. Holy shit. Sorry, I don't mean to swear, but OM goodness. Okay, so this is the Queen here in all of her glory, and doesn't she just look, that's the head, I think. That's the head here, but then you've got these spines coming off here, these tendrils of wings, this mass of just bone and ooze and claw and sharpness and deadly craziness. Oh my gosh. It is just as beautiful as she is deadly. I am sure she's going to run amok and cause some absolute trouble. What I'm going to do just quickly is one, push those back in there so they don't get crushed by the weight of all the other bits, because there is so much going on in this game. I just don't want to break anything. I feel like, obviously, you've got to be careful, but gosh, they're really in there. Okay, let's open up this little mini pack of cards before we move on, because I just want to, one, be able to put them back in this box. So there's more events here. So these look like they're events specific add-ons and things. Talks about different turns. Start with event 15. Sunburn. Draw another comic event card. Feral. Midnight. There's Watchers out there. Voyages. Nemesis Run. Draw another comic event card. So these might be based on the comic books, the Untold Stories bits. And that looks like it's a destination card for, it's similar to the destination coordinates card in the base game, but obviously has something else more specific with the rest of the facility, and I kind of dig that. All right, that takes care of the Nemesis lockdown call box, and my God, there was a lot of stuff involved. We're going to clear out here. We're going to have a look at the stretch goals box, and then we'll have a look at the Kings and maybe some Untold Stories as well. Give me a second, and I will take care of all of this as quick as I can. And there you go. Nice, quick, easy way to clean up and get through things, which is fantastic. So we've got here, I'm just going to have a quick look at these ones here. This is Untold Stories, which is a comic book story mode, or not a story mode, but just a bit of a mission guide, I guess. So it's got a little bit of a campaign mode and some sick art as well, which is just amazing. Yes, it's a comic book, but it's a playable comic book, and I kind of dig that. So, I mean, the art in this game is just fantastic. It is so great. Introduction about the game itself, how it's sort of the story behind the original Nemesis game. The cooperative campaign. So this is effectively, as I said, a cooperative mode campaign that you can play through over multiple sessions, which is fantastic. And it talks about different tokens. So those sheets of punchboard that I showed you previously, they are for the campaign mode that's contained within Untold Stories. Now, the best part about this is there's Untold Stories 1, but we've also got Untold Stories number 2. And this is effectively Nemesis Untold Stories to do with lockdown, I would imagine. So this talks about different tokens. So those cards that we looked at earlier, that is for that little mini pack of cards is for the campaign mode. For gameplay for Untold Stories number 2, there is comics events that happen to kick off things. You play through those in order. Oh my gosh, no spoilers. Oh my gosh, there's just so much going on with all this crazy. I love it. I dig it. I love it. All right, let's have a look at the Sundrop for the Chytrids. Someone tell me how to say it. Someone help me pronounce this one. Chytrids. I don't know. I know what I mean. Chytrids. It doesn't matter because the plastic is, of course, going on the floor. And then we have this gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous kick-ass box. So these guys are plant-based devourers of all things. Think Venus Flytrap gone absolutely apeshit. That is what is in this box. I am looking forward to seeing the Sundrop on those because, oh my God, the art on the side of the box is fabulous as well. So let's put this up over here for now just so we can see what's going on. I'll keep my knife handy. We have got I don't know if you can see it there. There's just some crazy sick art. You know what? Let's just tip it up here so we can see what's going on. It just looks fabulous. I love it. How to play with the expansion, which is fine. And I love that it's got an Untold... Sorry. Super pumped. I will focus. So, game manual for the stretch goals. So this is all the different components that are here. Doors, first player markers, the different stink horns and things as well. How to resolve the bag, etc. Death caps, gameplay changes. And then you've got the Void Seeders rules. So this is how to use the Void Seeders expansion for the base game with the lockdown components. Carnomorphs as well. So there's, I think, 5 different alien races that you can have, intruders, etc. Medic characters from the base game as well. Okay, let's have a look and we'll see what is in the box. Now, I just there is an Untold Stories number 3. So that makes, folks, count them up, 3 campaign modes, 3 over 2 games. That, my friends, is bloody fantastic. It wasn't something that was compulsory, but obviously going all in with the stretch goals, obviously it means you get extra stuff. General rules, Untold Stories 3, comic books galore. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything for you. If you get a chance to play campaign mode, do it. It's going to be amazing. There is just so much going on here in this box. And I love it. All right, components. Oh, let's come up upside down. That's all right. So we've got here the laboratory board, which is pretty straightforward. Different corpses that you will do to how the sort of adaptation for Shambler, Flesh Beast, and Butcher. Different tokens for the token bag. The different search actions, and then you've got these tokens here, which could be partly to do with campaign mode for Untold Stories number 3. On the reverse, you have got a laboratory research board for the Void Seeders, which obviously is a separate expansion. Your warning tokens, and then your search tokens backing everything else as well, which we dig. Then we have the research. So the Carnimorphs was the first one. This was the laboratory board for the Chytrids. I'm going with Chytrids. Chytrids? Yes, Chytrids. Okay. I'll get it eventually. You've got a lab research marker there. You've got all these different tokens denoting different players and areas on the board. More of the tokens for the black token bag. I should turn around the other way so we can see what's going on, which is fine. And then you've got the Chytrid board here. So the evolving part of it is a separate expansion within itself, because the laboratory research board actually improves or has your characters or your enemies evolve, which is not so much great. You've got here all sorts of little germination eggs in the nest, that sort of thing for the base games. This is the base Chytrid board, and that's fabulous as well. The one thing I will say about those is that the punch starts to get out of there really quickly and cause all sorts of trouble. So you've got here one sort of what looks like a little evolving board starting at 0 or starting at 8 and working your way around. I don't know what that's for exactly. That is a queen board. So the queen obviously starts here and then moves her way down and around. We're going to punch that out right now because it just is awesome. This means that can go on the floor. Yes, so we're going to have her doing some crazy stuff. They've thought of us already. They've got all the storage baggies ready to go, which we dig. Thank you very much, Awaken Realms. This fella is going to go right there. Look at that. Perfect storage. Cube storage as well. Things to take out. What have we got here? We've got little... Oh, silica gel. Gone. So we've got more plastic for the floor, but these guys are little spore markers of where the Chytrids are going to be spreading their seeds. So these are a little... none of the cameras are ever going to do this as much detail. There is just so much going on here. Charlotte has been eyeing off this big box, and she's like, "Can I play?" And I was like, "Oh, I really don't know whether we can or not. It's just ridiculous." The spore tokens just look fabulous, and they make a great noise when they're all together. Let's lift this top board off though, because there is a lot going on here. I'm running out of room to put where to put stuff. So we've also got some extra doors, which I didn't expect. I forgot these were in the stretch goal. Now these ones, are these breakable doors? So you've got here the door markers. Now these doors can be broken and damaged, but not like accidentally. They're actually meant to be, I think. So you can actually break the door, and if a door's damaged, obviously it's either broken open or broken closed, and you can obviously have those lock into position. That's fabulous. Again, I'm a tactile person, so to be able to have doors that you can maneuver around. Is there 11 of these, is there? Oh my gosh. There's 11 doors. I'm assuming that's all doors in there. If I miss out anything underneath, I apologize. But the doors just look the business. They're a great little addition to what is a great game. There's also a main gate. Now the main gate I don't think can be broken. I don't really want to try to break it, but the main gate obviously is part of the lockdown board that leads to the outdoor area, and it's a nice durable plastic. It's been obviously sun-dropped or painted or sprayed with a white coat, so you could probably just paint that up a bit further if you wanted to. And then you've got the little rover. So rather than having just the little card that moves you from one location to another. You can actually have the mini of the rover on the board. And this thing just looks boss as hell. I love it. I love that it's got a mounted sort of cannon thing on it, radars. I think that's the front of it there, so that's the exhaust port as it travels through, but that's just bloody brilliant. I love it. It looks so great. Is that the right way to go? There we go. Okay. Cards as far as I can see. Now we've got a three-dimensional first player marker. Again, cats. I did not get the Space Cats expansion. For me, it didn't really, whatever. I wasn't really interested in that, but I sort of get the joke. The Space Cats, though, as a first player marker, is very, very cute, very, very cool. And obviously it's better than just having a piece of chipboard lying around. Let's do cards first. I know you want to go through the minis. I do too. I'm excited as hell, but this is what's happening. So let's do this. This is for... This is extra bits and pieces for the base game characters. So these are actually cards for the medic, the weaknesses for the Chytrids, and then special goals and things for the different folks. Starting item for the CEO, starting items for the android, etc., which are usable for the expansion, the Aftermath expansion, which sort of takes place after the events of the original Nemesis game, or in this case, Aftermath of the Lockdown game. I don't know if they're pseudo-compatible. Maybe they are. We've got more cards to have a look at here. Now, these ones are going to be cards for the Aftermath expansion, or for characters for the Aftermath expansion. So you've got here, let's have a look. We've got action cards galore, action cards for the android. So these look like they're new decks to be used with Nemesis Lockdown. Then you've got the Bounty Hunter with his dog. That was just boss, by the way. Aftermath with the Bounty Hunter with the dogs. Very cool. 2 new decks for them, so I don't know whether it's just updated cards. I'm not entirely sure. It looks like they are extra cards for action decks compatibility. Yes, so they are. They're just designed so they can be compatible with Lockdown and other expansions, which means you can combine all that crazy stuff. That is a lot of Nemesis. There is a lot of Nemesis in my game room. Very excited to say too that I'm converting that area into a studio, so that's going to be fantastic. Character draft cards for the medic. You've got the help cards, which are pretty straightforward. The player aid cards, void seeder cards, Carnomorph cards. So I think that's designed, again, so they're all compatible with the Lockdown components. So if you have any of those expansions, and we do, you'll be able to adjust them out to suit. Objective cards. This be my revenge. These are objectives for personal decks. You've got event decks, event cards. Now those I think are solo objectives maybe. Void Seeder event cards that are compatible with this game. Then you've got the draft card for the medic, and then we've got these ones here. If I can get it out there. Let's have a look. More plastic. There's more plastic on the floor today than there has been in any other unboxing we've done. So consider yourself lucky. So we've got events for the Chytrids, and then more events with all different backs of the events. So I wonder if that's... Then we've got the attack deck for them. So this is the attack deck for the Chytrids. So you've got this scratch. Look at that. Come on. That's awesome. I love it. We've got here scratch cards, hurl, smash, a budding spore. That's no good. Pseudopod, infestation, spikes, entangling. Yeah, I don't know. These could be my new favorite intruders to play as, and they're going to play a totally different way to the others. We've got another event deck, which is for the Carnomorph, maybe? Yes, this is for the Carnomorphs, compatible with Lockdown. So different effects for those different characters. Overlords, Quarantine, Scavenging Biomatter, Growl, Beast on the Prowl, Stalking. So they've really thought about backwards compatibility with the new Lockdown game. So while you could get Lockdown on its own, having all the expansions, you just don't want to have them sitting on the shelf. So they've thought about that, which is fabulous. Really, really happy with that. And these are the event decks for the Chytrids. So this is the Coolant Leak, Sanitary Network. Oh, Sanitary Network Failure. That's not good. Short Circuit, Blue Screen, Fire in the Hole. So these are Lockdown cards, but again, they've been adjusted to suit The Chytrid's Puffball Explosion, that's not going to be good. Glowing Darkness, The Creeping Death, Unhealthy Air, Blooming, Mycelium, and Regrowth. Regrowth is not going to be fun, I can tell you that right now. I'll give you the hot tip there. All right, what have we got? We have got some Mycelium markers. So these Mycelium markers are going to go in different rooms, I would imagine, of the station, of the facility. And they act effectively like your malfunction markers or your fire markers. If you need to place one of these and there's none left, you die, you lose, that's it, game over. And they are nice translucent plastic, really sort of oozing spore-like thing. Very, very cool. I dig that. All right, we have got, I'm just going to check to see whether there's anything else under here. I don't think there is. No, there's not. Just a black lining on the box. These die, I dig these. So the dice here are purple germinators and green germinators, but they're actually got pips on them. So if you look carefully, you can see there's a 0, there's a 3, there's a 1, and there's a 2. So you'll actually roll some of these, and they will give you badness that would happen. And there's purple. I'll get some of the purple ones out too. And I don't know whether that's just because there's just two different sets because there's two different sets, or whether that's something that's a game mechanic where I think on the cards we saw there was some purple and some green, so maybe there's difference, and it depends. If you get lots of purple, then it's obviously bad. They have the same sort of faces on them, so there's a 1 pip, a 3 pip, a 2 pip, and then obviously blank. I'm assuming rolling blank is good. I'm assuming that. But they've got a nice textural feel. I mean, effectively, they're dice, but these are minis. They're not dice, they're minis. They're just awesome. And I dig that. So that's very cool. I like those very, very much. I will pop that one back in there. They can go back in there. Hopefully I'm not, don't want to damage them. But they just look boss. All right, let's get into the minis and figure out what's going on here. We have these little larvae creepers. These are the stink horns. And they just literally just reach out and grab you and smack you and snack on you. They're effectively plant-based tentacles. I dig the bases on these too. The green sun dropping effect is just boss as hell. We have got more of the same stinkhorns, just different sculpt. That is just a big spiky tentacle of death. Tendril, because it's a plant. Tentacle is like a sea-based creature, whereas these are plant-based, so tendril maybe is a more correct term. And then you've got spikes and all sorts there. I'm just put my hand behind so we can see it. It's pure tentacles of awesome death, and I'm here for that. I really am. I'm here for it. And then you've got some death caps, which are spores, fungus, all sorts. So these guys have grown inside the station. And they have, these sort of mushroom death cap things there. I mean, don't go picking mushrooms that you just see growing anywhere anyway, but these things will eat you alive in both the physical and mental sense. They will just devour you whole. And there's 3 of those in there to cause trouble. There is also the Chytrid Queen, which is this fella here, or madam here, I should say. And she is all about spores, mold, fungus, business. Look at this thing. You've got, I don't even know which way is up. So here we've got spores, we've got all sorts of goodies here. Just the detail, the tendrils, the sharp, angular mandibles, I guess, for lack of a better term. She is just all about pain and destruction, and I'm digging it. It is fantastic. Oh man, I just don't even know. There is so much going on just in this expansion alone. Where do you begin? Where to begin? Oh my god, it's fantastic. All right, that is all of the stuff that's in the stretch goals box. That's obviously not just for the Chytrids, but there's also other bits and pieces there as well. Let's clear this away, and we'll have a look through the Kings expansions, which are extra additional sculpts to use Kings instead of Queens, and then we'll be able to wrap things up. We're nearly there, folks. Nearly there. One more time. Here we go. And we're nearly there. We've got 2 boxes left to go, which is super exciting. And these ones, I mean, I'm not saying I've saved the best to last, but this is just fabulous. So we have here the Nemesis Kings. So these are the Kings for the base, the base and the expansion Intruder sets that came with the base game, and Carnomorphs and Void Seeders. And I believe they have all been sun dropped as well. I hope they have, because that's what we pay for. So we're going to show you a little bit about what these sculpts look like. Again, the pile of plastic that is adding up here is just ridiculous, but I don't care. All right, so we have some crazy artwork for the Three Kings. We Three Kings sounds like a bloody Christmas carol, but that's not what we're here for. So in this box, 3 new sculpts for Void Seeders, Carnomorphs, and Base Intruders, and they are the kings as opposed to the queens. So let's have a look and see what's in this crazy little bundle of awesomeness. Oh my gosh, it's tight. Which I don't mind. I don't mind that. It means it's going to be... Oh my gosh! Okay. So let's... Holy crap balls. Oh my god! Okay, so the King's expansion, the Carnomorphs have effectively three different sculpts because they evolve, etc. So let's... Okay, right, let's have a look. Let's start at the beginning as best we can. I don't even know whether that's meant to be that way. It's just jostled in transit. Yes, it has. Holy shit. Okay, so I'm just going to bring these guys out because I just don't want to damage anything. And they just look amazing. Oh my god, I can't even get them out. They're so packed so tightly. Okay, so let's get rid of this. Let's just get rid of that altogether. So this is the king for the base game intruder. That is frightening as hell. I mean, it's beautiful, but oh my god, it's frightening as hell. Look at this guy. Look at that Moor. He's just... the shine on it as well. Like the tail, the tendrils, the mandibles, like the wings, which are not wings, they're just claws. This guy will tear you apart. I love that. I do love too that I think he's not actually as tall as the Queen. I'll have to compare the sizings, but it's just boss. It's boss. And I dig it. Let's put him just over here because he just looks awesome. Now the Carnomorphs, looks like there's 3 sculpts that are all the same. So I'm not sure whether that's just because they can multiply out or whatever the case may be, but this guy with his wings and his barbaric, this big bloody pincer thing that is just absolutely deadly. He has a hand, a Moor that runs the length of his face as well, and that crazy red. It's just sickeningly twisted and amazing. Whoever's designed these, I mean, they just look fantastic. I mean, this guy's got a skull topping his head, crunching bloody bone and disgusting, terrible things, and I love that. And there's 3 different minis, I should say, but they are all the same sculpt, and I'm kind of digging that as well. And then we have our friend, the Void Seeder King. Now, this guy doesn't have a base. The Void Seeder Queen in the Void Seeder expansion had no base as well, and she was frightening as hell. This guy's no exception. He's got this crazy skull thing going on. He's got tentacles and mandibles and crazy craniums, and he's got a crab claw thing going on. He's like a lobster. I don't know. He's sort of... As frightening as this is the frightening form that it should have taken in the finale, not the crazy Pennywise crab thing. I mean, tell me I'm wrong. This here is that much more frightening than the... Holy crap. It's just fantastic. I love it. I love it. All right, let's have a look at the Kings for the lockdown box. So this will be for the Night Stalkers, which will be that bone color, and also for the Chytrids. Yeah? No? Maybe? The Chytrids as well. So there'll be another couple of minis for those too. Plastic again on the floor. My gosh. All right, let's see what we've got in here. And this is the first box that's not a hard box like these ones, which is interesting. I think maybe it's just because it's only the 2 minis and they're just like, yep, sure, whatever. But let's have a look. We've got the box. It's going to sit right there on display. And then we have our friends here. Oh my. So we have the Night Stalker King, which is just... like the wings on this thing, it's actually not fixed to the base except for the feet. So there's a bit of movement and friction there, which I kind of dig because it gives it a bit more presence. He's got this crazy horn craziness, the shielding on the shoulders, the wingspan, just the crazy, the detail on these things are just bloody amazing. Oh my gosh. Absolutely boss as hell. I dig it. And then we have the king, for the Chytrids. Now this thing doesn't have a base. So the Chytrid Queen had a base. Obviously it moves around that little dial we saw before. But the Chytrid Queen, yes, he's got a base, but it's a bloody finger puppet, this thing. I mean, that's kind of sick and twisted as well. But this is just, like, look at this thing. You've got these crazy little spores and spikes that obviously lead into some sort of maw. You've got this, what looks like a mouth here, these Audrey 2-esque pod leaves that close around the prey. You've got tentacles en masse. The detail on this is just so good. This whiplashing mandible tendrily thing coming off here. Branch, I guess, for lack of a better term. These plant-based enemies are just fantastic. Oh gosh, look at this stuff. It's so good. I cannot talk about the sculpts enough. I mean, they just look fantastic. And I mean, I love table presence. So having these all here is just like, it looks fantastic. I love it. It looks so good. Okay. That is it for Nemesis Lockdown, the Stretch Goals box, and of course the Kings expansion, along with all the Untold Stories stuff. There is a lot of Nemesis to get through. And look, if you've got this far, thank you so much for sitting through it all and enjoying that with me. I hope you get a chance to experience Nemesis in all of its stunning glory as well. We have got not a lot of Nemesis to play, but we've got plenty more unboxings for you. We have received like 5 or 6 Kickstarters within the space of 2 days, so there is plenty of stuff to get through. Meeples and Monsters has arrived. Creature Comforts from Kids Table Board Gaming has arrived. The Canvas expansion. We've had Feed the Kraken, which is a social deduction game of piracy. That's looking fantastic as well. Along with some crazy live streaming stuff with our new friend here. We're going to be web streaming some D&D content for juniors. Charlotte and I are going to be playing some Dungeons & Dragons, so by all means stick around for that. If you have any requests or any questions, by all means please pop them in the comments below or reach out to us as well. And I must say a massive, massive thank you to our Patreon subscribers as well for allowing us to be able to get all this crazy new equipment and provide all this crazy new content. We will see you back at the table very soon. Until then, friends, look after each other, play heaps of games, stay safe, stay social, and we'll see you back at the table very soon. Until then, though, it is bye for now.